Hello all! In this second video for today, I will go into what you can do about sound sensitivity. As it turns out, quite a lot. The main self-help strategy is desensitization with graduated sound exposure. Start this process by listening to music with earplugs or a headset as you putter around the home. Do this initially at very low volumes for short time periods. Also begin with fairly mellow music that you're very familiar with. The goal of this exercise is to habituate you to sound again and for you to learn how to ignore sounds when you want to. First, go with instrumental music. Only later add lyrics or audio recordings. Language is much harder for an overloaded brain to filter out. As you are able, gradually increase the length of time of your exposure. Then increase the volume of the music to safe, higher levels. Increase the pitch of music. For many, higher is harder than lower. Add in more lyrics, podcasts, and unfamiliar music. Increase how complex or discordant the music is. For example, easy listening versus hard rock music, Mozart versus modern classical music. Next, try to listen later in the day when you're more tired. Finally, expose yourself to short, sharp sounds like dropping a pan on a counter. When you're changing the things, just focus on one thing at a time. For example, increasing the duration, but not the volume at the same time. Another approach I'm going to introduce to you is called sound zooming. Like the eyes, your brain can pay attention, zoom in to particular sounds, and ignore others. Being able to triage sound like this is important, but initially quite difficult for concussed brains. Sound zooming exercises also is a good overall mindfulness exercise, as it will bring you into the here and now, thereby alleviating stress, depression, and anxiety. So by doing it, you get a 2-for-1 deal. For sound zooming exercise, start in a relatively quiet place. For example, a cafe during a quiet period. Focus on the sounds all around you, close at hand, and then further away. As an example, the conversation of a couple is having nearby, purely for therapeutic reasons, of course. An order being placed at the cash, the squeaky sound of the espresso maker, a bus and/or an ambulance going by in the distance. Just as with the sound exposure exercise, you should change things up. Do it for longer, during busier and louder times, later in the day, while you're multitasking, for example, scrolling your phone. You should look into getting professional help if, despite your best efforts and spending enough time at this, the sensitivity continues to linger, it's getting worse, the sensitivity provokes strong negative emotions in you, like fear or anger, it's significantly impacting the quality of your life, or you're engaging in prolonged sound avoidance behaviors. When looking for a specialist, start by consulting your family doctor. In addition, you can contact local concussion and hearing groups and associations. You're looking for a knowledgeable clinician like a psychological counselor or an audiologist who is already experienced with sound desensitization. But this may not be always so easy to find. These clinicians will employ things like graded relaxation and cognitive behavioral therapy, which can be greatly helped by medication from your doctor. Unfortunately, sometimes desensitization plus or minus psychological help is just not enough. You need even more specialized help, for example, for an auditory processing disorder. In this case, special consultation and additional equipment may be required. For example, hearing aids, but not used for hearing loss, instead in order to selectively enhance some sounds and decrease others. Now, before starting with these latter, likely expensive approaches, it's a good idea to discuss with the clinician what evidence supports their diagnosis and how effectively the technology is they are recommending. Well, that's it for today. In PT Tip 5, I will start to look at light sensitivity. Keep on healing. November 19th, 2024, revised May 8th, 2025.